Quilts. This is Kathy. Kat's got her tongue today. Anyway, we're really excited to do our holiday edition of Kathy Quilts. And so real quick, we're gonna have Kathy just do what she does best and show you guys some feathers and some other things. And hopefully you'll be able to see that. So just turn that on.
We're going to
Anyway, today we have some really awesome things we want to talk about. We're actually going to have some giveaways. We're able to give away a light bar, which is like a $600 thing. So that's going to be really cool. So hopefully people will stay to the end. We really need you to leave comments so that we know you're here. And then that way we can choose you to be able to do that. So back to Kathy. Okay. Okay.
there you go.
Yeah, I'm sorry about our little technical difficulties, but that is so awesome.
Wanted to talk about is this time of year. I know that it was many a Christmas Eve. I would be making the Christmas stockings while the kids were waiting at the door. And if you want to quilt some Christmas stockings, put one piece of fabric on your quilting frame, hook it to your back leader and your quilt take-up leader, and lay your piece stockings on top of it. Alternate them so that they can nest together. Quilt them all at the same time. I have 6 children, and so I made 8 stockings at a time and just laid them out, and I quilted them in probably about half an hour for all the Christmas stockings. So that's a really fun idea if you're making gifts for someone or would like to have a little quilted stocking. Go ahead and lay them all out together and quilt them at the same time.
Yeah, there's just so many things you can do with your machine and your frame, whether you have a hoop frame or if you have a big rolling rail frame like this. There, Kathy, the other day, she was actually sewing a pair of jeans with her long arm. Just had to repair something, and so it's just, don't be tied down to just thinking you can only quilt with it, because there's a lot of things that you can do.
It won't create to a sit down machine. And that's why you want to think around the box and be able to put a backing on here and be able to quilt several of the things. I've put a zipper in a sleeping bag on the long arm because it was long and I was able to get my machine on that long length where I couldn't get it at my sewing machine. So think around the box a little bit, put your thinking caps on, and it has a lot of various uses. We had a wonderful client that bought a machine to do some leather work, and she really wanted to embellish things with leather, and she really liked that it was so strong. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
I didn't see the outcome of that, but she was so excited to give it a try. So I gotta get back to my quilting.
Yeah, well, thanks. So, real quick, we have a special event that we're doing right now. And because we're doing this live event, we understand that not everybody's going to be able to be watching this when it's live. So what we've had permission from the Grace Company that we can do what we call event pricing. And so if you go and you look on our website, you'll see that a lot of times we actually have a lower price than the regular retail price um, on all the accessories. And so that's going to be things like thread or, bobbins, or there's some really cool things like um, this Wonderfoot. It's really awesome if you want to do stitch in the ditch. And so this is a hopping foot that just hook on right there. But all of these things are going to be 20% off the retail price. So in some cases, that's going to be even better. And then on orders that are over $50, we'll do free shipping as well. So that's really exciting. So that event lasts today through Saturday. They don't let us do this pricing all that long. Now, the Grace Company, on the other hand, they're starting their kind of a holiday sale where the Quilt Motion, the robotics, the automation, that's going to be on sale for the whole month, 20% off. During this event, we're going to be doing a little bit better than that. So the getting the QCT automation, Kathy uses that all the time. She just loves it. So um, yeah, right now that's great. But anyway, back to the Grace Company. They are actually going to be doing um, 10% off flash sale that starts on the 13th, so tomorrow. And their 10% sale goes up to the 23rd of December. So, um, that's still a nice to be able to get a little bit extra off, but it's more important that if you really want to save, get this stuff during this sale. And again, I can't put these prices of what is going to be on there. So what we need you to do is we need you to either email us at event@kathyquilts.com. And then you can say, hey, what's the price on this or that or whatever. And then that way I can get back with you and I'll know that you saw this event and then you qualify for the extra event pricing. But also you can call, so our toll-free number will be on there, and you're welcome to give us a call. Now, don't call while we're doing this because obviously our phones are kind of tied up. So just wait until after, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. Now, you can comment, and Mike is on the other computer, and so he can answer any questions you have. So please, ask any questions you have, and then he can let me know if there's anything that he doesn't know, then I can answer it. So now, again, we were going to highlight some of the different accessories that you can get, and so since you're getting 20% off the retail price on these, it's really good. The ruler base, that's really good if you're doing ruler work. And so if you notice on the long arm, they have kind of a small area here. And so having a ruler on there is kind of precarious. So that's what the ruler base is for. Obviously, the M-class bobbins, this is really nice. Um, and so I was talking to one of our friends, and she was saying that her daughter has a blanket making business, and she hates that when she's quilting, or sewing the blankets together, that on her machine is just a size L bobbin. So it's one of the domestic size bobbins. And so she's always changing the bobbin. So I was telling her about the Little Rebel, which is the Grace Company's straight stitch machine that they have, that's made for just stitching, but also you can use it for quilting. So if you go and you put it on a frame like the Cutie Breeze, one of those hoop frames, or if you put it, you can even put it on a frame like this one. If you do that, then it turns into a quilting machine. It has a 13-inch throat, and it has a tall uh, harp, the inside the arm of the, or inside the needle in that area. And so I told her that it has an L, has an M class bobbin. So it's like twice as big. So that would be really good for her. And also one of the reasons I really like that Little Rebel is because it comes with an extender table as well. So whenever you're piecing, whenever you're doing dressmaking or just clothing construction, anything like that, it's a great machine. It's really fast, and it has the feed dogs and everything just like a regular machine. But if you need to drop that, you can drop those feed dogs if you're quilting it. So you can use that, and you can quilt onto the arm of that machine. That's not bad. But we find that if you really want to do some serious quilting, at least getting a hoop frame is going to make a big difference for you. Even if it's not the big rolling rail frames, because you don't have room for it. Just a little hoop frame is easier. We find that you can uh, base your quilt all together before you put it on. You put the leader on, so that's going to be like a little strip of fabric that you pin to the top edge, and then you just put that part that you're going to quilt in there. And since you have a leader on there, you can actually start over in the top left hand corner of the quilt, and then as you finish up that area, then you can slide it and then just do the next zone. So really, really awesome. Um, so we have the Little Rebel on our website, and again, those prices are not the event prices. So you can get a really, really awesome deal. So if you are thinking about, any of these kind of things, just send us an email, and then that way I'll be able to do that, or give us a call. And again, that is through Saturday that you get that pricing. Next up, I was going to talk about the quilt motion. So I don't have that on my frame. When I was shooting a video earlier, and I actually had Kathy's on here, but I am getting my own, so that way I'll be able to learn how to do the automation and do that. But um, in my video, it showed me doing 2 rows, and it's just really cool how accurate you can do, and what you can do with it. It's just really, really awesome. Um, but quilt motion is definitely, if you've been quilting for a while, or you're just looking to quilt for other people, eventually, having that is like you've hired an expert to quilt for you. So that's just really awesome. Now, all month long, Quilt Motion is 20% off, but during this event, you can get an even better deal than that. So we're really excited about that. Let's see. We were hoping to do a Q&A. Michael, are there any? Why don't you tell me the questions?
Um,
So while Mike's looking that up, we want to be able to do more live events. So we'll be doing live events with the Grace Company and that's where there'll be like special sales, things going on. But we also want to do just like open it up, do a Q&A, because the whole idea, if you've gone to our YouTube channel, you'll see that it says Kathy Quilts University. And what it is, ever since we've been selling these, and Kathy's been quilting, she actually has two machines that she quilts on. She has a Gamma Classic, and so that's a 26-inch throat machine, just massive. And matter of fact, this room that we're in right here, it was a 12-foot frame, and it was so tight trying to get it up around one end. It was just really crazy. But after we built her quilting studio, then we were able to move it upstairs. Anyway, she also has a 21 Pro that she uses. Anyway, just hang on. Oh, Kathy's back. How exciting.
Okay, I wanted to share one thing. I made this from a charm packet. And I just wanted to do something really quick that was Christmassy. So I put the charms together with 1.5-inch sashing. I think I cut them 2 inches, so it's 1.5 inches here, but I don't know if you can tell, but I quilted a little poinsettia in each of the blocks. And so I'm going to quilt a quick poinsettia again because she said we had technical difficulties, and I want you to see how fast it is to quilt a little poinsettia. So, okay, Mike, can we do it? Okay. First off, you want to have a center, whether you mark the center of your blocks or you just want to kind of ramble it. You want to make a few center circles if you can, and then start coming out with some leaves. I like to trim my threads as I go. So start coming out with some just make some little designs. And then you want to come back and go a little bit heavier of the leaf design. If you haven't filled up your block, and if you notice, poinsettias usually have a couple rows of leaves. Now I'm going to go back and write into the center and make a center spine. And if you haven't ever tried making a poinsettia or a type of flower like this, by all means, give it a try. One thing I do want to say before we sign off is, if you notice, I had a client come over the other day and she says, "Why is your quilt so floppy?" And yeah, you can have your quilt tight, but it's not going to do as good of a design or a good quilting experience as if you had your quilt as if your kitty had been napping on it. You want to have a little swag in that quilt. You don't want it tight. You'll get a much better quilting experience and a good quilting stitch if you have your quilt loose. I think this one looks better than this one, but still serves the purpose. So once again, you know, you can just do something like that in a quilt block like this. Here's a little poinsettia block. And then I did a little bamboo design up and down the sashings and a feather in the border. And this quilt took me about half an hour to quilt. I changed the threads to red, to green, to white, and I even have a teal color thread in here. So I did change threads 3 or 4 times during that quilt, but
Well, tell me about
for
when you're quilting, that you almost always will change thread colors.
change thread and the bobbin at the same time too. I like my thread to match the back, and I don't think anyone can see this, but you can see I have a red bobbin thread there, white thread here, green in my borders. And it just makes for an all over better look. You want the quilt to be the highlight, not so much the quilting in your quilts. And I think it makes for a really fun quilt if you can change your threads. If you don't have a lot of threads, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. It's more fun to be able to quilt than it is to have different threads. And oh, the QCT repair tool. Okay, I don't have QCT on this frame. It's upstairs, but I will tell you how to do it. We do have a video on that, and we can link that to you if you leave your email in the thing. We just did a thing on doing the QCT repairs.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't we? So if you run out of bobbin thread as you're doing your quilt motion, it's easy enough. Just cut your thread, pull it over the side, put a new bobbin in, bring it back, and on here it will say repair. Pull up your bobbin thread first, then hit that repair button. You might need to hit it twice. You need to watch in your computer and make sure that your blue where you're at goes back to where you were, because if you've gone an extra foot and didn't notice that you were out of bobbin thread, you need to go back and hit that repair, pull it up. But we do have a video that just talks about that, so we can link that to you if you would like that. Okay, back to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that.
Well,
There you go.
you can start.
Do we have any other questions?
No,
Okay.
just don't have to go to the website.
So send the banner across the bottom. Okay. Well, we know that this isn't like a big fancy event or YouTube thing, but we are trying. And so please, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe so that you can at least find us again. We want to be able to help people to elevate their quilting. And when Kathy does these free motion things, for her, it's really easy to do, but it's because she's done it so many times. And so just like learning how to play the piano or type or whatever, it's that repetition that helps you. If you're scared that you're going to mess something up, get a notebook and just do continuous lines with your pencil or pen. We have a video that shows doing it on an iPad, and you practice on there, and then you can, if you can draw it, you can quilt it. So we really want to see the quilting elevated all over the whole industry. I hear way too many times people say, well, it's just a donation quilt, so I just stipple it. And I mean, yeah, that's quilting and that's okay. But even with a meander, you can do a second line and cross it every now and again, and it turns that meander into a ribbon. So anyway, we really appreciate you. And if we don't have any other questions or anything, we're going to go ahead and just end right now. But we hope that you have a great holiday season. And if there's anything we can do to help you,
Go online.
please go to kathyquilts.com or give us a call. Our toll-free number is 888-826-0222. So thanks, and let us leave comments and let us know what we can help you with. Thanks.